Okay, so here we've got the Han Solo. I've switched the strobe light off because it's making me feel giddy. Han Solo on a 12 back C card with the original picture there, and let's see if we can get a good look at the small headed Han figure. So, a bit out of focus there, let me move back a bit. So, this is also known as the Han Solo pinhead version. And then the other version is called the big head version, which is, and then it says 1978 Kenner Star Wars 12 back C Han Solo small head. Card gets 80, bubble 85, and the figure gets 80. And it's a really nice item. To get a Han Solo on the 12 back is a really hard thing to do because he's quite expensive. The big head version is even more, supposedly more expensive, rarer on this card, so that goes for slightly more. But you know, they're quite expensive. Nice figure though. Comes with a small blaster, piece of card between the legs, which is typical of the Han Solo, and just looks fantastic. I've always wanted a small headed Han Solo, but it's taken me ages to track one down. I'm glad I won this one. Not happy that I had to pay custom charges as well. That really takes the biscuit. A really nice item. I know there's a few of these on the, YouTube. Some of the big time collectors have this. So there's a guy in Germany who's got a couple of these, I know that, on YouTube. So his collection's way much better than mine. But finally I've got the Han Solo with the small head carded. I've got a loose one of these graded as well. But here you go. Small head Han, 12 back card. Excellent figure. 80 grade with this card getting 80 and the bubble 85. The bubble's nice and clear. There's a slight little bit of edge wear around the, what do you call it, tab where you hang it. Just see it there. The famous logo there that you only get on 12 and 20 back and 21 back cards. And then the Kenner, the LP there stands for long playing toy. That was soon dispensed with, that LP. Comes with a little blaster, I've said. You can hardly see his ears, his hair's so long around him. Great figure though. Han Solo small head on a 12 back card, and it's a 12 back C. If you want to find out more about all of this, the best source to go to is the John Kellerman book, which should be a new version of that coming out soon. I don't know why it hasn't come out yet, and that will be an absolute must if you're a vintage collector. I've got a few reviews up recently of all the different books I've got. Some of them are pretty specific Star Wars, others are a bit more generic. They have just like other action figures and sci-fi collectibles and all that sort of stuff in them, so you know, but the Kellerman book is pretty good, so I'd check that one out. And then if you look at the back of this, here's the 12 back card, which I've shown before. So what other 12 backs? So really nice. Oh yeah, the Ben Kenobi I've got is a 12 back. And the Princess Leia. That Princess Leia, the white one, and that Ben Kenobi there. Really nice 12 back card, and how to pull out the telescoping saber, which was soon abandoned in favour of just the push down. The land speeder, X-wing and TIE fighter, and then the display thing you can put your action figures on. And that Han there is the small headed version. The Luke there is the blonde haired version. If you want to see a brown haired version of Luke, I've just got one of those carded. That is pretty rare. That's an Empire Strikes Back Canadian card. And some good Canadian stuff on eBay at the moment. There's a couple of Canadian transition cards that are worth checking out, especially if you live in the States or Canada. Then you don't have to pay import duty. And there you've got the pop proof of purchase, and closing date for that offer was May the 1st, 1979. That's a long time ago. And this card is a classic design. I think Gentle Giant is sort of, with the jumbo figures, have sort of copied this design as well pretty well. So, you know, excellent. 12 back, very nice. And let's see what's up the front of the card again. One more look at the front. So this is a super rare Han Solo, small head. The thing is, he's actually rare on an Empire Strikes Back card. If you found this figure on an Empire Strikes Back card, it's super rare, and that would, you're talking about a couple of $1,000 maybe. So that figure's even rarer on later cards. It can be found on a 21 back Empire Strikes Back card, and if you've got one of those, you must be laughing. So I'm not sure if it's more valuable on a 20 or 21 back Star Wars card either. So, but even to get this on a 12 back card is, you're talking hefty rupees. If you go on eBay, most of these are in the USA. If you go on eBay and type small head Han Solo, you'll see the average price. You'll be pretty shocked. And this is not a bad grade. It's an 80 with card 80, bubble 85, figure 80. So, and then the big headed version goes for even more on a 12 back card. But look at that piece of history there. This was the first ever action figure I got. Obviously mine would have been on a PALITOY card, and this is on a US Kenner card. But still, this is the first action figure I ever bought back in 1978. So 1978 to now, how many years is that? 34 years ago? Oh my goodness. 34 years ago, this was the first Star Wars figure I ever bought. And now I've got one again. Back then it cost 99p, this one cost many times more. So I've noticed even the VOTC Han Solo is going for about 25 quid on eBay. So, you know, this is a popular card combination. I don't see why, with the vintage collection, Hasbro didn't put this picture on the Han Solo with the medal. Well, they need to bring this card back again with a new Han Solo. Everyone's got to have this card. This is such a classic. This and the Luke with his hand on the knee. Those two pictures are, what do you call them, the dog's bees, as we say, as this figure is. A small head. Okay. I remember later on, in about 81 when I got the Millennium Falcon, I got the big headed version of this and I didn't like it at all. But now, I don't know which version I like better, the small or the big headed version. They're both great. Great figure. Great picture there. And I'm going to take some photographs now. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed looking at this super rare Han Solo small head, little head, pinhead. So on a Kenner US 12-back C. I've got loads of reviews about this figure and the different cards I've got it on. So cheapest to get this on a vintage card would be on a Return of the Jedi card, maybe a PALITOY or a US Kenner card. But even then you're talking about a couple of £100 if it's graded. Maybe if you get an ungraded one. But everyone wants this figure because he's one of the first 12. And he looks pretty cool in that sort of gunslinger outfit. So, I mean, loose, you can get and pick them up for a tenner. And then graded loose, 20, 30, 40, 50. So, and obviously the most famous version is back in '95 when they brought back out that 4-pack and they redid this figure, and a lot of fans were really peed off about that. But it says on the back of the figure that it's got the date stamp for '95. So it's an what's it? Emulation is the copy. What's that quote? Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm just babbling on and babbling on and rabbiting on about this Han Solo that just came today. I guess I'm excited. Just like almost like Christmas. Christmas is how it was back in the 70s. Anyway, cheers. I'll probably do more film and video of this figure because it costs a pretty penny. Alright, cheers. Bye. Okay, here we've got the Gentle Giant Jumbo figure, the SDCC San Diego Comic Convention exclusive Han Solo with the small head. So the regular version comes with the big head version, and this is the small headed version. And it's still a massive figure. The head just looks, even at this scale, looks quite simplistic and lacks. I think the big headed version just looks better. It looks more detailed, has more sculpting angles in the face. So, but this is the rarer version. This is the hardest. This is the convention exclusive, and it's amazing to see this figure at this scale. You can see the detailing in the hands, or lack of, and how thin it is looking, and then the detailing in the belt, the other hand, and the lack of detail in the trousers, the boots, the lack of shaping in the feet, the massive Han Solo blaster there, really huge there, and then the Kenner card there, or the sort of Gentle Giant tribute to the Kenner 12-back design. You notice just there, by the ear of Han Solo, there's a tear in the card. So this one's graded, so it comes in the AFA case. The thing is just huge, and so funny thing to get graded. I never got this graded, I just bought it because it was, I mean, this is cheaper than ungraded versions, this small-headed Han Solo. Postage was expensive though, obviously because of the size. It has the LP sign there, long play, which Kenner had on the 12 backs, and it says Gentle Giant 2011, 12-inch vintage jumbo Han Solo small head, card gets 80, bubble gets 80 because there's a bit of denting at the top there, and the figure gets 90. Wow, this is an amazing item. I just got a small-headed Han Solo, so you know, I mean the real vintage one, the 3 3/4 inch figure, and that cost a bomb. But this is the cheaper option if you want to get a small-headed Han Solo, is just to get the jumbo vintage one. They also got the vinyl cake Jawa, and that was sold at SDCC as well. So it looks great, this item, and it looks great in the AFA case. The only problem is it's so damn big. Look how big this thing is. Look how huge it is. I've taken some pictures with next to that little 12-back Luke, telescoping Luke I got, just the action figure, and a Phantom Menace figure, or vintage collection figure, just to give you an idea of how massive this thing is. It's huge. It's good to see the figures in this scale though, because you can just see all the imperfections, but these figures are classic, so that's why, you know, in England you can get them in the model zone for about 55 quid, these figures. Not this Han, but the other Han, or the more regular versions, the Princess Leia, the Darth Vader. Forbidden Planet has them as well in London, and I don't know where else you can get them in the UK, obviously eBay as well. They seem to be cheaper in the States. In the States you can get them for about $40, but who knows. They're great items and very displayable. They just look great. That pistol is just huge. Look at it. Massive blaster. Great item. Han Solo. Small-headed variant. And I don't know if I'll get any more. I wouldn't mind maybe the Princess Leia and the Luke. The Farm Boy Luke's quite a hard one to get. But look at that. Sculpting perfection. The Gentle Giant's done a really good job in upscaling these figures to such a massive scale. Obviously when I'll put this next to the my small-headed version as well. I'll cut them together on YouTube. Great figure though. Gentle Giant, huge, weighs a ton this one. Okay, this is the back of the Gentle Giant jumbo Han Solo small head. It says, you know, just like the old vintage card back, but the height of the figures is quite different. Now there's Sam Person's 12 inches, C-3PO is 12 inches, Han Solo's 12 inches, Chewbacca's 12.5 inches, Vader's 12.5 inches, Jawa's 7.5 inches, R2's 7.5 as well. And then you've got the classic artwork here of the first 12 figures, which is just pure nostalgia for old gits like me. And then you've got how to work the lightsaber. So this is how the original telescoping saber worked. So push arm lever forward and pull saber out by tip to close. Push tip of saber in and push arm lever back. Okay. At the bottom the card is less retro. It's showing Gentle Giant projects like this Jabba's Palace with the Boba Fett and the Gamorrean Guard, the Leia Bosch and the Hiding Carbonate, Wicket, the Warwick, W. Warwick mini bust, Cad Bane bust, and Pre Vizsla bust from the Clone Wars. And then it's got all the different logos there. StarWars.com, Gentle Giant, Hasbro, and Kep. It's made in China. And it says Gentle Giant. And it says on the front, ages 14 and above. Yep, ages 14 and above in the top corner there. So it's quite interesting that. So that's your Han Solo, amazing item. Jumbo figure, the small-headed version. And Wow, it just looks great. Weighs a ton this. Don't know where I'm going to find space to put this. Han Solo giant figure. Classic. The image is just classic. Look at that. Han Solo. Very small head there. The detailing on the waistcoat's quite good. Not too bad on the white shirt. Around the waist, not bad. Then the trousers are pretty lax, total any detail. They're just like spandex he's wearing. And the boots. You can see how simple the foot design is. And then the hands are quite simple as well. What a figure. Gentle Giants. Small head version Han Solo. Great figure. Great tribute to the original line. And there's more and more of these figures coming out. Definitely they're starting to do the 20 back figures. So, you know, they got the potential to do quite a lot of these figures. But they're just so big. Where do you put them all? There's the small head. They quickly replaced that head with the big head version because they call this the pinhead version as well, and that's clear to see why. You've got a classic item there from yesteryear. I just love the vintage cards and the vintage figures. The Han, the Luke and the Leia. Those three are just sweet action figures if you ask me. Especially the original white outfit Leia, this version of Han, plus the Luke original. Okay, this is Han Solo from 1978. It's a big head Han Solo, and it's on a 20 back H card. I only know that because it says at the bottom because of the AFA label. So this has got the free Boba Fett offer, so just like the new vintage figures, this has the same offer. Well, this is the original offer, so this is for getting the original missile firing Boba Fett back in 1978-79. I'm pretty sure I sent off for that. I did the equivalent offer in England, so we would have cut the name tags out. In America you cut out the pops. This is the Han Solo. It's a 12, one of the original 12 figures. It was, I've said this before on YouTube, it's the first figure I ever got. I would have gotten the small head version, so this is the big head version, and originally the figure came with a small head version. I'll show you that in a minute. I've got a loose version of the small head, graded, but I haven't got a carded version of that Han Solo. So this is the big head on a 20 back. I've got the same figure on a 21 back. This one's a higher grade though, this one's at 85. So the card gets 80, the bubble gets 85, and the figure gets 85. So those are the grades. It's a 1978 Kenner Star Wars 20 back H. So there's a guy called John Kellerman wrote a book, and he's like described all the different variations on the Kenner cards in terms of stickers and printings and all that sort of stuff, warning stickers and stuff like that. So this is a 20 back H. So, and you can guess where this was bought in America. Toys R Us. It cost originally $1.97. That's upside down. Let's turn the camera around. So you got that back in the day. It would have been $1.97. This is one of the most sort of the figures. I've got quite a few of them. It's because it was probably the first figure I bought. It's like one of my favourites, if not my favourite, the favourite. I've got on YouTube. You can see a PALITOY Return of the Jedi Han Solo. You can see a graded 85 again. Return of the Jedi Kenner 78/7 back or 79 back with the Anakin offer sticker or whatever print, and also I've got a tri-logo Han Solo with the alternative picture, plus a German Empire Strikes Back Han Solo, which is on YouTube. You can look that up. What else? Plus the 21 back, and now this one, and this is the 20 back H, and then there's also the loose graded small head Han Solo as well. So let's have a look how big his head is. I'll get the loose one in a minute so you can see, compare the two. Okay, this is the original Boba Fett offer, so we've just had it repeated in with the 2010 collection, and so that's a mock-up of the Boba Fett figure made out of the Death Squad Commander, and you've got the offer has been extended until 3rd, which would be March, I guess, March the 31st, 1980, so I'd have been just turned 10 then. And it says here, a fearsome interplanetary bounty hunter, a threat to the Rebel Alliance, especially Han Solo, a new character in the Star Wars sequel. And it tells you how to get the free Boba Fett offer. Well, it wasn't free, you had to cut out quite a lot of figure names and send maybe a couple of dollars to collect it. And these are the figures. You've got 8 there plus 12 there. That makes it a 20 back. This is a 20 back H. It's got a 20 back H because it's got that offer extended sticker there. So according to the Kellerman book, whatever extra stickers and stuff like that, sometimes there's a label that covers that thing up there. That is a sticker itself. It's covering up the rocket firing Boba Fett, and even the shape of the corners of the sticker will see. This one's quite square, but in some it's rounded, and that would lead it to be oh, I can't even say it. You know what I mean? It would be oh, I can't say it. Well, you know what I mean. It would be in a different class. So it'd be maybe a 20 back H, a 20 back J, a 20 back whatever, D, C, B, so, and so that's how it goes. Oh dear. Okay, so here you can see the loose small head Han Solo plus the big head behind him. So the original figure was released with a head like that, and it's been called the Pinhead Han Solo. This was the actual first figure I got. I would have had this on a 12 back PALITOY card, and I think in England back in 1978 when they finally came out it would have cost about 99 pence. So this was the first Star Wars figure I had. My one's been vanished for a long time, so you know, and this is quite an expensive figure to find these days. Though they say the big head Han's worth more on a Star Wars card, but this one's kind of getting pretty scarce now. And there's the small head. So with the small head though, he looks a bit more in proportion with the big head. And they never altered the body, so the body now looks a bit small on the big head Han. And he's got more of a mop top hairstyle, and looks quite, maybe a little bit more like Harrison Ford, whereas this one's more of a generic representation. And I can say that, but I can't say categorization, or I just did, but you know. And so I don't know which one, because I had that one first. I quite like the small head, but I also like the big head as well. So there you go. They both are classic figures. Oh, obviously there's been better ones since 95 and onwards. And I mean, this card with the image of Han Solo, Harrison Ford, looks just, it's classic. And there you are with the logo, Star Wars logo. So there's the small head Han Solo, and there's the big head Han Solo there. You could maybe, if you actually watch this on YouTube, you could tell me at the bottom which one you prefer. So there you go. And the bodies are exactly the same, no difference at all. And that's it. So they're the two major variations with the original Han Solo, is just the head, the big head. Some have moulded legs as well. This one doesn't, so you'll have to look that up. I think that's just to do with whether the legs have been painted black or that they were moulded in black plastic. That's as far as I guess. So there you are, the two Han Solos, small head, big head. I think at the moment you can get these giant jumbo Star Wars figures, and I think the small-headed one version was a special, maybe San Diego Comic Convention or stuff like that. So, but you can still get the big-headed Han as the jumbo figure. So that's if you wanted to get a modern version. If you want to get him on a vintage card, the best bet is probably trying to get him on a Jedi card, probably US, or even a PALITOY card would be. They're probably going to be your cheapest options, and that's going to be with the big head. So, but I mean, they are out there. I mean, maybe not in best condition, but you should be able to track one down. So there you go, Boba Fett offer. This is a 20 back H, and that's what it was categorized. If you get the John Kellerman book, that's really useful. You can check the Kellerman matrices out on Rebel Scum. Yep. So, and there you go. So that's your 20 back H Han Solo. That's it. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and all that. Cheers. Goodbye. Okay, here's a Return of the Jedi PALITOY Star Wars figure, Han Solo on a 65 card back. Typical PALITOY, unpunched. Han Solo with the big head, and he's got the Bespin gun there, as you can see. So he's got the wrong weapon, but there's a lot of these Han Solos on the PALITOY card come with the Bespin gun, so it's not rare or anything. The Han Solo with the first picture, so this comes on the Empire Strikes Back card and the Return of the Jedi card and the original Star Wars card. And it's a PALITOY card. It doesn't have the logo here, so also the German cards look like this as well. The Empire Strikes Back General Mills German cards look exactly like this, and you can get French cards. It would say return. Well, I would say that in French. I can't really pronounce it. I can't speak French to save my life. So there you are. Return of the Jedi, British PALITOY Star Wars figure, Han Solo. One of my favourite figures. This is actually the first figure I ever bought when I was a kid. I bought this Han Solo. It must have been the small-headed version back then in 1978. When I bought this figure when I was a kid, I was quite surprised how small they were, because in those days we were a lot more used to larger size figures, like the sort of Mego size figures and the Action Men figures, the British versions. Okay, this is the back of the British Return of the Jedi 65 back, and you can see all the figures that were available, the new Return of the Jedi figures, plus the two Ewoks that were blacked out. and you can see the card's unpunched. It's in very good condition. The bubble has a ding at the top, so that's the only problem. It has an offer here for a Chewbacca bandolier strap. To get your bandolier strap, just collect 5 Star Wars action figures, cut out and send their package names, your name, age and address plus a check or postal order for £3.50 to Chewbacca bandolier offer, PO Box 3534 Erdington, Birmingham B24, and that's where you get the offer. And you got the PALITOY division of General Mills Products Corporation. I think there was a date above where it says open to UK residents only, and that's been blacked out. This is really common on the PALITOY card, so it's not been done by a dealer. It's just been very common on British PALITOY cards that date's been blacked out. So you could send in for this offer for longer than what probably it says on the card. Look at the top of the bubble, you can just see the ding there, a little dent. It's a PALITOY bubble, so it's fine, thin plastic, so hence it stayed really clear, not like most Kenner cards which tend to go yellow. It's the first picture of Han Solo, and I'm going to show you a Kenner carded Return of the Jedi Han Solo in a minute, and you'll notice that the Han Solo name is different. On this version it's in black, on the American version it's in white with the same green background. Okay, this is the Kenner 77 back Return of the Jedi Han Solo. So this is the US version of the figure I've just shown you. This card has the second picture, so with the 77 backs, Kenner switched some of the pictures on some of the key characters, some of the original figures. So they switched pictures on the Luke to the Gunner card, the Han to this picture of Han Solo down the Death Star with a different hairstyle. And you can see there the Han Solo, it's in writing, and there's a lot more information on this card than on the British card. You've got the Kenner logo there, and you've got the free Anakin Skywalker action figure offer there, which is just a sticker stuck onto the card. The Han Solo is virtually identical to the PALITOY version. The only difference I've noticed so far is the eye detailing. Here it's a bit less than the British version. I mean, they all come from Hong Kong, so it's just probably the paint application. This Han Solo's got the correct weapon. He's got the Han Solo blaster, whereas if you notice on the picture he's holding the Imperial rifle there. This is just when Han Solo runs down the Death Star trench chasing the stormtroopers. And I think it's here where he just stops because he's run to a sort of dead end and found a whole load of stormtroopers, and so he's going to turn around and run back. Nice card, very good condition. This is an AFA graded figure, so it costs a lot more than the Return of the Jedi PALITOY Han Solo I got there. It's got a grade of 85, which means it's near mint. So the figure's got, let me check the grades. Right, the card gets 85, the bubble gets 85, and the figure gets 80. So the figure gets 80, I guess maybe because the laser gun, the sellotape's a bit loose. On this Kenner card you can see that they still use the cardboard to divide the legs, and the bubble is definitely thicker plastic, so it's typical Kenner bubble, which is fairly clear at the moment but will start to turn yellow, as all Kenner bubbles tend to do, which is a real shame. This bubble's been punched, so you've got the card's been punched, so you can see that there's the little punch is missing. A nice card though. One of my favourite figures, one of the originals. This is the second version. This is called the Han Solo with the big head. So the original version was Han Solo with a pin head, which everyone at the time thought the head looked too small, so Kenner must have decided that they're going to make a bigger head. And here's the back now. You've got the 77 back, which is a really common card. I mean, most of the recent pickups I've got are all 77 backs. Really common in England. and then it's got this sticker which says free Anakin Skywalker action figure from Star Wars Return of the Jedi with the purchase of any 5 Star Wars action figures. And here in this offer you had to cut that little proof of purchase out. So in England you had to cut the names out. In America you had to just cut these little proofs of purchases out. And you could get this offer. Let's see, the offer expired May the 30th 1985. So you could get that offer up to then. And you've got the 77 figures there. Then there's going to be after this there was a 79 back, and then after that there was the 92 back. So nice card. This is like, I think this is the first time I've ever had this card with this Anakin offer on it. You know, I've had quite a lot of US 77 backs, so it's nice to have that offer on it. This one has a barcode on it, which the PALITOY version doesn't have. It says Anakin Skywalker, swayed to the dark side of the Force, saved by the love of his son Luke Skywalker. New Anakin Skywalker, not available in any store at this time. And this Anakin Skywalker was hardly available at all. It's available on Tri-Logo card and very rarely on Power Force cards, so that's why the Power of the Force Anakin Skywalker costs a fortune. Because it costs even more than the yak face on Power of the Force. Okay, another look at the Han Solo. So we've got him down the Death Star trench in his little black and white vest. You can see this is a really simple figure. Like, the sculpting lacks quite a lot of detail. There's a bit of detail in the vest, but if you look at the legs are really smooth. So the sculpting then in 1978-77 was really pretty basic. Still, it was a figure all us kids wanted to play with back in the 70s. And this picture you can also get on the Tri-Logo card. So you can get this picture on Return of the Jedi US cards and the Tri-Logo card as well.